Hi and welcome to part 3 of my series in learning to ride the rollers. Last week I was away for a few days and had a game of squash with some colleagues. First game of squash in 20 years, and I was amazed how well I played, and indeed so were the others. And I think half of that and half the agility was due to actually riding on these elite rollers. I really do think that even after a few weeks it's making a big difference to my overall stamina, balance, performance, tummy. Today I wanted to talk a little bit, not so much about cycling on the rollers. Let's see if we can just get started again. Not so much about cycling on the rollers, but about communications. Not me talking to you, but about various devices that you can connect to the bike that tell you how well you're doing. This could be a cadence sensor, it could be a speed sensor, or indeed the information coming from these elite interactive trainers. Now there's two ways of a computer or a phone, or indeed a watch, smartwatch, receiving information. There's two different protocols. One is called Bluetooth, which we're all familiar with, and we find that on almost all mobile phones and laptop computers nowadays. The other is one that we really don't know too much about generally, and I indeed hadn't heard of it, and when I went to try to buy a dongle, the people in the shop hadn't heard of it either. It's a protocol called Ant Plus, and it just has a lead like this that will have a dongle at the end, and it picks up a signal in the Ant Plus protocol. Just to start with, talking a bit about Bluetooth, the one we know all about. We use it a lot, but actually it tends to be used much less in the fitness, the health and well-being circles. With Bluetooth, you have to turn on your phone or laptop to receive Bluetooth, so that has to be switched on, and then you can look at the screenshot, and you'll see typically two divisions, and I'll try and show a picture of these in this video if I can manage to embed photographs into the video. You'll see at the bottom there's a list of devices waiting to be paired to the computer. It says something like available devices, and these are at the bottom. You may recognise the name of some, but also there may be a whole load of others that you don't actually recognise. We have to put the device, the cadence sensor, into a paired mode with the mobile phone or computer. Paired simply means that the device is able to communicate with the phone. It doesn't mean that it actually is in the process of communicating. It's just basically in a sort of ready state. And to get it from the available list, we typically just tap on the list and the device will pair. To move from a paired state to an active state, this should happen automatically when a program is running. And you can see on the picture that I'm showing now, with any luck, a Aftershock phone connecting headphones. These are absolutely amazing. And you can see that's connected. And that means that the mobile phone is sending a signal to those headphones, and I can listen to trance music in this instance. Now, with Bluetooth, only one device can link up with one phone, and once linked, it can lock it up for other devices. And I found it very difficult to get the rollers, the cadence sensor and the speed sensor connected to any of my programs through Bluetooth. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. At the moment my phone won't communicate with the rollers. It just says the rollers are denying a connection. Over the last several years they've come up with this ANT Plus protocol, which is, or seems to be, very much simpler. You have to buy a dongle. Oops! You have to buy a dongle, this thing here, at the end. It's very small, and it fits into the computer USB port, and it picks up a signal which you have to set in the software of the program. You have to tell the program that you're using ANT Plus communication, not Bluetooth. And with the Elite My eTrainer app, which I'm using at the moment, it just seems to work. So I have the information coming from the rollers and the information coming from the cadence sensor on the pedals, and it just produces data and graphs as I'm cycling. So I'm just going to cycle for a little bit longer, but I'll show you also a picture of the sort of information that you receive through the rollers and the cadence sensor. And I'm waiting for Black Friday before I buy the heart sensor, so you can receive all these information and store them. However, at the moment it's on the computer, and I'd quite like it to work with the telephone, which is here. But at the moment I can't get the rollers to communicate through Bluetooth to the phone. You can buy an ANT Plus sensor for the phone, but I'm not sure I want to do that. Goodbye for this week.